The OTC 1791 standard short leg walker boot is used primarily in lieu of a cast in cases of mild fractures and other injuries. Properly adjusted and fit, it provides the same degree of immobilization as a cast, but it can be removed and then reapplied to allow the patient to bathe. The walker boot is sized according to shoe size. A chart on the product carton matches male or female shoe size to the correct boot size. The most important thing to remember about sizing is that once the patient's foot is placed in the boot, the toes should not extend beyond the distal edge of the foot plate. If they do extend, the boot size is too small. The boot is the correct size if there are no more than 1 to 2 inches of room from the toes to the distal edge of the foot plate. The walker boot comes fully assembled out of the box. The first thing that you do as a fitter is disassemble it by removing the encircling straps so the foam liner can be removed from the rigid frame of the boot. There are tabs on the outside of the encircling straps to make it easy to grasp and remove them from their attachments and take them out of the D-rings. The top or proximal encircling strap has closure material all the way around and is attached to the liner as well as the uprights. So the top strap must be removed not only from the upright but also from the back of the liner so the liner can be removed from the frame of the boot. Once the liner is removed, unfasten it in front. Wrap it around the patient's foot and lower leg and fasten snugly from the bottom to the top, from proximal to distal, or toward the heart. Note that there is a pad that is attached on one side to the interior of the liner. This is to be placed over top of the instep to prevent rubbing and irritation from the strap that will eventually fasten over top. If necessary, readjust the fastening of the liner to ensure a snug fit by going distal to proximal or from the bottom to the top. Check for any gaps once the liner has been fastened around the patient's foot, ankle, and leg. This is done because the liner is being used in place of a cast, so we don't want any sort of play inside of it. The walker boot comes with foam padding to fill in any gaps that usually appear around the ankle and the Achilles tendon areas. Be sure to point out to the patient that these pads are removable so that when they remove the liner for showering, they know where to reposition the pads correctly. Each boot comes with 4 pads, typically more than enough for any gaps that may be present. The pads can be trimmed if a smaller size is required. Place the patient's foot inside the frame of the boot and position the heel against the very back of the foot plate. Next, make sure that the uprights of the frame are positioned along the midline of the medial and lateral sides of the leg. First, the lateral side. Position it so it is along the midline of the outside of the leg, and then take the strip that says "pull up" on the top, pull back on the lateral upright, and remove the strip, which then allows the hook material on the inside of the upright to attach to the foam liner. Then do the same thing on the medial upright. Next, fasten all the cinch straps, going from distal to proximal or bottom to top. Once all the straps have been adjusted and fastened firmly, go back a second time and refasten them, again from bottom to top, adjusting each a second time for optimum fit, stability, and patient comfort. Note that the 2 straps over the foot pivot to allow for a slight adjustment to optimize fit and wearing comfort. Once the fitting is complete, the patient should place his foot firmly on the floor with the knee at 90 degrees, and this is how it should look. Finally, assist the patient in standing and ask him to ambulate in the boot, pointing out the rocker bottom sole that makes it easier to propel the affected leg.